Yes guys, what's going on? It's Ashton here and welcome to my ultimate Pathfinder guide. Now in this video I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips on how to become a better Pathfinder main. If you do go on to enjoy the video, make sure to smash like and subscribe to the channel for more regular Apex Legends content, and without further ado, let's get right into the guide. So guys, kicking off with my first tip, it is of course to learn how momentum works with Pathfinder's grapple. I often see a lot of new Pathfinder players using the grapple completely wrong, and that is because they don't understand how the momentum works with his grapple. If you're using your grapple and it seems stiff and straightforward, that is not the correct way to use Pathfinder's grapple. Now of course it can work in some situations if you're just trying to gain some height on your opponent, but more often than not you want to be gaining a lot more speed than you can if your grapple is stiff and not using that momentum that you have built up whilst running around. Now this is exactly what I mean on screen here. As you can see, this is the perfect example of a bad grapple. You're going to be a lot easier to hit if you're grappling in this way rather than curving your grapples and using the momentum and the speed that you have built up to have a lot faster grapple. So you're going to be going faster in the air, which means of course you're going to be a lot harder to hit for the opponent, and also you're going to get to your destination a lot faster. Now staying with the theme of momentum, I'm going to be talking about bunny hopping out of a grapple. Now this is a great way of closing a lot of distance with your grapples, as you're going to find it a lot easier to maintain the momentum that you gained from your grapple in sliding if you bunny hop, and it can honestly close so much ground and get you away from a fight if you need to get away from one, or alternatively it can also close the distance in towards a fight just so you can get in a little bit faster than if you don't bunny hop. As you can see here, the distance I gained just from bunny hopping here is quite a lot, and I could have gone even further if I wanted to. So make sure to incorporate the grapple into the bunny hop into your playstyle if you haven't already. It's such a huge difference maker for Pathfinder. We're moving on now to my second tip guys. It is to think before you grapple. Honestly, as a Pathfinder main, I can say I've done this one too many times where you're just going around a corner or into an area, you're not quite sure if there is anyone there, you hit the grapple, you're away from your team, and suddenly you're in front of a 3-stack and you get absolutely beamed. This is something I've been actively trying to work out of my game, especially in ranked, as it can cause real problems if you just suddenly go around a corner and unexpectedly get caught out by another enemy team, and that can cause real problems for your team. So while I know it's so tempting to use that grapple every 12 to 13 seconds that it recharges, just take a minute to think about what you're doing and potentially just take the few extra seconds to run it instead of grappling, because you may end up regretting it if you do. I've also seen a lot of Pathfinder players on Kings Canyon get caught out when they're running down a hill or a slope and they use the grapple on the floor to try and gain some distance to get down that slope faster, but they end up just gaining height and not distance. This has also happened to me a bunch of times, and it is important to remember that when going downhill you should always look to grapple a flat surface or a rock or something that is sticking out and not the floor, because you're only going to gain height and not distance. And believe me, it is so easy to hit a Pathfinder who is grappling high but not far. Trust me on this one guys, you want to be grappling a rock or a flat surface, not a sloped surface if you're going down a hill, especially on Kings Canyon. So guys, the next tip in this video is how to use Pathfinder correctly, and in my opinion the best way to use Pathfinder is offensively. In Apex Legends right now you're going to be seeing a lot of long range poke battles and mid range fights, with the Havoc and the G7 being highly in fashion right now to be used in the meta, and using Pathfinder correctly in these situations can really help close down the distances here if you're not looking to take on these long range to mid range fights. And if you can get a beam or a little bit of damage on an enemy, you can use the Pathfinder grapple to close that distance and get all up in their faces when they're not expecting it. And in my opinion this is the scariest use of Pathfinder, as if you're on the opposition and a Pathfinder is grappling into you with a PK or an R99 and you've got your long range weapon out, you've got absolutely no chance, especially if you've just had a huge chunk of your shield taken out. So in my opinion you should always use Pathfinder in this offensive way to get up in the enemy's faces, close distances and gain high ground on them if absolutely necessary. You'll also find yourself having a ton more fun being the aggressive type Pathfinder player rather than the standoffish sit back and gain the high ground type Pathfinder player. While these players may survive longer, in often cases they don't get many kills and they don't often have as much fun because all they're doing all game is zipping to high ground and often camping until the ring comes in when they can take another set of high ground. And of course, having high ground in certain situations is key, and that is something that Pathfinder brings to the table, and you should always utilize that with his ziplines and his grapples. But if you're just sitting up there all game with scouts, longbows, long range weapons, and just sitting on the high ground because you're Pathfinder and you can grapple up there while other people can't, you're not going to be having fun, and believe me when I say other people don't appreciate it either. So just try being the aggressive type Pathfinder and you'll find yourself enjoying the game a lot more. For tip number 4, I'm going to be talking about the zip hop. Now, a lot of people know how to zip hop. It is when you just jump on and off of a zipline going up it if you're being shot at. It does make you a lot harder to hit for the enemy, and of course that is a good thing if you're in the middle of the open and you need to go up a zipline. However, of course, this can also slow you down in going up, so while you are harder to hit, you're also going to be going up the zip a lot slower, and a lot of people actually don't know how to correctly zip hop. Now, if you do it too fast and you're zip hopping, you're actually not going to be going up at all, and you're just going to be in a standstill position. And while in some situations in very late rings, this can be a big benefit of zip hopping in this way. If you're trying to avoid enemy incoming fire, you don't want to be doing it so fast that you're not gaining any distance, or if you're just hopping so high that you're not actually bouncing as much, which makes it also a lot easier for the opponent to hit you. You want to be very careful with the way that you time your zip hops, so not too fast and not too slow, just in the middle where you are still gaining ground on the zip, but you're also bouncing up and down, which is of course going to make it harder for the opponent to hit you. This can take some practice, but just take into consideration that you shouldn't do it too fast and you shouldn't do it too slowly. And the last tip I have for you guys is to use the zip super jump. Now this is very hard to master and something that I personally don't even have down myself yet. This is a very hard technique, especially on console, and takes a lot of practice to get right. The way you do it is similar to a zip jump, where you jump onto the zip and jump off and then jump on and off again very quickly, and you actually almost get this double jump effect, as you can see on screen here, to gain some serious height on your opponents. This can only be used in very specific situations, but if you can use this right, this is a great technique to get the jump on an unsuspecting opponent. It's definitely something that if you can get right, you should definitely incorporate into your game, and you should certainly practice either way, just so if the situation comes around you have a chance of getting it right, because this is such a good tactic, and honestly if you can do this right, you're going to be a very good player. This one's going to be a lot easier for players with scuff or elite controllers to do right, but don't give up. Even if you don't have one of those controllers, certainly just go into the firing range and just try it for a little bit, see if you can get it right. If you can nail it, incorporate it into your game, and you're absolutely sure to benefit from it in the long run. So guys, those are 5 of my top Pathfinder tips. I hope you did enjoy. I tried to bring you some tips that maybe not all of the guides on YouTube would bring to you, so tell me what you think of that in the comments below. If I missed anything, let me know. I'm also always down for recommendations. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure to smash like and subscribe to the channel for more regular Apex Legends content. Until next time guys, it's been your boy Ashton, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy and goodbye.